in there. All right, so all right, so this is the first episode of Shots Fired, where three friends get together, talk about their photography adventures and all of their images in a very sarcastic and goofy way. With I don't want to call it criticism, but maybe harsh criticism.
It's
So
always constructive. Always
it's always
constructive.
constructive. Hold on, my thing is not timing up. Let me let it cycle through because for some reason it's just catching Scott rubbing his chin, and it looks like you're just watching porn right now, Adam. So give it a minute.
Well, I am.
In
Yeah, there's been, yeah.
actuality,
That's why his glasses aren't on.
I
Yeah.
don't know why it's taking so long to sync up. It took like 30, 45 seconds for it to sync up last time. There it goes. All right. Start from scratch. All right. So, fuck, I hate this part. It just sucks. All right. So, welcome to. What the fuck are we calling it? Yeah. Hey, welcome to Shots Fired. This is a little photography video that we decided to start doing, hopefully on a weekly to bi weekly basis. It's basically three friends that have been hanging out for like 4 years now. Met up in the Adirondacks a while ago. We hate each other's guts and we really hate each other's photography. We basically do harsh criticism on the side, and we'll send each other pics, and we'll figure out who's are really bad, typically mine, and then we'll just have a little fun with it. So this is basically our video version of all that. So we have Scott from New York. We have Adam from Jersey. How you pronounce that correctly? Jersey.
Perfect.
There you go.
Perfect.
Nailed it. Uh, so we're basically just going to show you a bunch of our images and rip into each other a little bit. Just kind of give a little dig in there. So yeah, what do we got first? We got
I would say it's harsh criticism. It's harsh criticism, but it's also very transparent and uh, and not mean spirited. Always
never mean
all love
spirited.
on this side. Yeah.
Definitely not mean spirited.
All right, so basically, like I said, we've been at this for like 4 years. Initially, I think it was me and Scott that met up uh, at a lighthouse in Montauk, right? Doing some Milky Way landscape, which I think wasn't that your first time doing Milky Way?
Yeah, it was. And oddly enough, so my first time meeting Joseph was in the dark at about 3 a.m.
Yeah, it wasn't that wasn't the best
In,
idea.
in,
Like we
in
could
a
have both been
lighthouse. In a
murderers.
lighthouse, no
In
doubt.
a lighthouse,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Couldn't see him. Just heard Scott and I.
Was it Grinder? Was that the app that we used?
Oh, yeah, that sounds pretty familiar now. So, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how this relationship began, and look at us now.
And then Adam, how do we met you up at Adirondacks, right?
Yeah. So God, I met you guys 4 years ago. This was in the Adirondacks, up in Lake Placid. Yeah, it was fall. Beautiful fall color.
Yep.
I was going up there just to spend time with family, and yeah, actually, Joseph, you reached out to me, believe it or not. Um, I didn't actually know, like we didn't really talk too much. We
No.
were both following each other on Instagram,
Yep.
but maybe you commented on a few of my photos in the past, but I think I posted something about how I was going up to Lake Placid, and you said, "Oh, hey, we're going to be up there at the same time. Do you
Yeah.
want to go climb Mount Marcy?"
Yeah.
I said, "Sure, yeah, no, absolutely." I knew Mount Marcy was a 46er, and I figured, oh yeah, let's go on a shoot with Joseph and a few other people, and good opportunity to meet other photographers
Yeah.
for sure. But and then
And Scott and I had
I
no idea what a 46er was at this point.
yeah,
And we were
no,
thinking, what's that going to be? Like a 4 hour hike? Yeah, no.
yeah. So then I actually looked it up, and it was a 15-mile round trip hike. And I reached out to you. I said, you know, it's 15 miles, right? And you're like, oh shit. Well, you want to go camping? And like this guy, this guy who I didn't even know is asking me to go camping in the middle of
Yep.
the Adirondack wilderness, which was funny. But yeah, I wasn't up for that. But I did say, well, let's go for something that's a little bit easier hike. So I first met you guys when we went up
Now, Joe.
Mount Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a very gray, dull day. We made it up there. So met you guys. Went right on up. I think we kind of fell right into place. I don't know about you, but again, I didn't really know you guys at all. But
Adam's getting all
when we
warm
made
and
it to
fuzzy.
the top of
Aw.
Mount Joe, what's that?
Said you were getting all warm and fuzzy. Aw.
Oh no. It'll get much worse in a second here. But we made it up to the top of Mount Joe, and again, really gray day, really flat, no light. Um, and you started to set up your monster tripod.
Yep.
Your I'm pretty sure it's 8 pounds. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a 7 foot tripod. You started to set it up, and then again, I didn't really know you guys, but I as a joke, I went and set up right in front of you, pretending like, and then I'm like, is this guy gonna get pissed at this? Clearly, I'm just joking around. But turn around, you're laughing your ass off. So I knew you guys were good people. But yeah. If you recall, we made it up there, and horrible light. But we did. I at least caught one, or at least captured one shot while I was up there. But yeah. Curious to hear how you guys did that day as well too.
Oh, that day sucked, and the next day sucked, and then it wasn't until we went up the third day with Manny and Janet that they showed us the spot where we should have gone to, because the first day we hiked. So there's two levels at Mount Joe. There's the upper level, which has a bunch of trees shrouding everything. Then there's a lower level that's hidden behind the trees that you can climb into, and then that gives you the perfect overlook for what's that pond? Remember that pond?
Heart Lake.
Yeah, Heart Lake. So, and then what does that look over like? Was that Mount Marcy that it looks towards?
Is it Algonquin?
Maybe
I
Algonquin.
don't know. You
But,
can definitely see Marcy from there, but I don't think that's.
If you see the shot, you'll know the shot. It's been shot a lot, but it's still a great time. Yeah,
And
no.
I think also it's important to mention while telling this story. So Joseph had said the first time that we went up there, we went to the peak, and the view from there is not all that great. So after we found out about the better viewing location, we thought it'd be a good idea to try to find it in the pitch black the following morning. And
Bad idea.
yeah, Joseph and I almost bushwhacked ourselves off of the cliff.
Yeah, that would have been a good day.
Thankfully, we didn't. But yeah, I feel like that is a key detail that should be mentioned. Or,
You know what's funny about that day that I just remembered is that Joseph brought 2 cameras and 2 tripods up, to capture.
Fog.
Well,
Yeah.
one was just to capture regular shots, and the other was for
Time
was
lapse
for a time lapse.
of
And it
Of
wasn't
nothing.
until probably about a month ago now at this point when I saw him capture his first decent time lapse ever. So it's been a good 4 years where of just no decent time lapse until
Yeah.
about a month ago.
We all have a
during the
learning
Aurora
curve,
storm.
right? Like we all accelerated at a certain speed. I'm the turtle. I don't know what
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know what to tell you. I got there though.
You just kind of plateaued and
Yeah.
stayed there for a while. Yeah,
Whatever.
that's okay.
All right,
Well,
so
why don't we dive into some images from
Yeah.
from that
Scott,
trip?
you got yours up? You want to share?
I do. Okay, let's share entire share. Okay. All right. So, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I have actually a lot more images from the Adirondacks than I had thought. A lot of these are older, but while looking through them earlier today, I wanted to kind of find some of the first images that I had taken that weekend that we all met, and then some that were of similar subjects, or maybe even in the same exact location, just different years. So I'm gonna pull up. All right, let's see. Where's the first one I wanted to show? So this was from Mount Joe, actually. This was my first year up there. Not the iconic shot that you normally see. This is kind of looking off to the side. As you can tell, I really liked that saturation slider. This
Yeah, buddy.
go around when I was. Is that it?
Yeah. This is a Joseph Cole special right here.
Hell yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it makes sense. I was hanging out with him a bit around this time, so may have rubbed off on me.
Oh, jeez. Good Lord.
Yeah, a lot went wrong in this image that if I could go back, I'd probably just scrap it entirely. But this was one of my first ones that I had taken. Do you guys want me to show more recent, or you want to
do a more recent? Because I'm just show both of them what you got.
Okay. Let's see.
You need to buy a Mac, man. This PC crap is.
I built this bad boy.
What? Yeah.
Now we got from the same exact lookout. Clearly, way different conditions, and I think saturation toned down quite a bit to resemble something a little bit more natural looking. I mean, I would hope most people would prefer this one over the Color Bomb first image, but yeah, I think a big difference can be seen from first to second images. I mean, you can just pull that up to there. Greens toned down quite a bit, not so much color cast. So I felt like that was a pretty good example because it's exactly the same spot.
Yep.
Just maybe this composition is about 2 feet, 3 feet to the left of this one right here.
Right.
So I thought that was a nice compare and contrast, if you will, of images taken in the same location, just with some time in between and some more knowledge under my belt.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, I actually like this one, or at least the composition a lot better as well too. You mentioned it was about 2 or 3 feet to the left, but just with that, I think that first shot, the composition, especially in the lower right hand corner, it's kind of drawing your eye quite a bit, and I think that the composition on the other shot was much stronger. Obviously, much better atmosphere, of course, and I think that adds this kind of layer of mystery to this a little bit as well too. It would have been nice to have those clouds a little bit lower, of course, and then having the peak in the background, Mount Marcy in the background, obviously sort of sticking up above the clouds. That would have been perfect. But yeah, nicely composed. I do like the colors obviously much better here as well too. I'm definitely a big fan of desaturation. That's one of those things that over time, as I've become, or as I've grown as a photographer, I've definitely used the desaturation. I've gone the opposite direction on that saturation slider, and I kind of like that look a lot more. But yeah, it looks nice here.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this was really that first trip that we were talking about that we had met. That was really one of my first times shooting fall foliage, at least to the degree of how vibrant it is up in the High Peaks area, because it's a lot different up there than it is down on Long Island, and those colors really pop without requiring much contrast or color adjustments. And I think even just the slightest bit of adding of saturation or adding contrast can really get them out of control quickly. So it's definitely a fine line to walk that took me some time to kind of dial in.
Joe,
Yeah,
Joe, what are you thinking about it?
Forgot to put the mountain in, but outside
I
of
know,
that,
yeah.
I mean,
It's
you know,
just the upper left-hand corner is almost a little too.
that's just I
It's
forgot
almost a
the
little
mountain,
too.
man. Like,
You know,
you want to know they turn the mountains. No,
Joe's a
seriously.
big fan of pointing on.
Obviously,
For sure.
I'm a saturation slut. So, um, I actually like your original better. Like, I know that you get like the atmosphere
Wow.
of the fog. The rock obviously is a lot on the corner for sure. Like it's a heavy weight there. Uh,
Do
I like I
do
said, I just like color.
do you
I
feel
love
like
my color.
there needs to be a stronger subject?
Uh, I don't know, cause I mean it's just like a general overlook on the one that you shot years ago as opposed to the one in the fog. But I do like the atmosphere of the fog, cause like I mean, so like Scott and I just went on a trip out to Oregon, and when we were in Oregon, we had a cloudy-ish, rainy-ish day, and clouds moving through the trees and like up the hills. It's gorgeous. And sometimes you have some breaks, and I would just if this had that little bit of break in the upper left hand corner, so Mount Marcy just had like a shadow just sitting there. This would this would just bump this image up a ton. But
Hey Scott,
I
go. Can you go full screen on this?
sure.
Yeah. Oh, in the bottom right-hand corner.
bottom right arrows, bruh.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
we go.
Oh, what? There it goes.
Much better.
So I do agree. It would be very nice to have the peak kind of showing through
Yeah.
the fog. That would definitely balance out the composition
Yeah.
quite a bit. Um, this was truthfully when we got up there, you could not shoot anywhere else from this lookout because it was so banked in with
Yep.
fog. So it was really like I'm either shooting this or I'm just shooting complete whiteout conditions.
And this is
Uh,
not a massive height from all the other mountains. So like this is
no,
it was what 800, 1,000, 800 feet.
I don't even think 1,000, maybe 700 feet.
Yeah. So it was in that area. So it's just high enough so that when the fog starts rising, it just engulfs you right here. And whereas like the top of the peaks, you'd probably be over it, looking down on the fog lifting. So it's a tough situation to begin with. But yeah, it's almost like you have to wait for that certain time and hope for that certain time that the fog can get burned off by the sun and it does reveal those mountains in the back, which is, you know, you never know what you're going to get. So, but I
In
mean,
these types of conditions, when it like the viewpoint is socked in,
yeah,
I really like to drop down, maybe 50 feet or so, and actually go down into that forest and actually shoot, um,
tighter scenes.
a nice, a nice woodland scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially with that fog coming in,
Yeah.
and that color looks awesome. That'd be a nice, who knows how easy
We do
it
need
would
to
have
take
been
that trip again because that was a lot of fun.
For
All right,
sure.
Adam, you want to show yours?
Sure, yeah. Let's dive right in.
Okay, so it is stop share.
All right, let me know when you guys can see my screen
Yeah,
here.
you got it.
All right. So this is actually one that I captured again right on the same shoot where I actually met you guys.
Yep.
I think this is the only one that I was actually able to get that day. As mentioned, the viewpoint was no good. No light on the landscape, nothing dynamic going on. So I decided to get something a little bit more intimate here as well. And in fact, I tried some really intimate abstracts as shooting down at the ground, but those turned out pretty shitty. But actually did like this one.
I actually comp stomped you
I
on this.
You did,
I
yeah,
did.
yeah. You actually you comp stomped me on that one, but that's okay. For this one, it was all about the color and obviously the strong contrast with this birch tree here. I also included the raw here. Just I thought this was funny calling this out, but as you can see, like not a ton of editing on this one. Um, I I might have boosted the reds a little bit, brought those out, that fall foliage a little bit. Obviously put a crop on it, and maybe I dodged the birch tree a little bit, but besides that, like not a ton of editing on this one, which was kind of nice. But I did call this out because you'll notice that I cropped right about here,
Yeah.
and even cropping right here, I still got some of these sky spots that came through, and they seemed really, at least to me, they were really, yeah. I don't know if you can see that, but really distracting. And I just bring that up because Joseph, you and I recently had the conversation about
Yep.
a woodland scene that you had shot, and you still included those small spots of sky
Yep.
that pop through. But yeah, as you know, for me, I always like to clone those out. I think it just creates like a much cleaner look. And
Yep.
yeah, I just wanted to call that out. That even 4 years ago, that was something that I knew. So
Yeah.
I'm like roughly 4 years ahead of you at this point
Roughly.
in terms of my photography skills. So
But I'm
yeah,
6 years
just
older and better looking, so it's fine. Whatever.
that's true. Yeah. That's true. But yeah. I'm curious if you guys have any feedback on this one.
No, I like that's why I comp stomped it. Except I went horizontal and I made it foggier. So, and I actually on this one I actually did do desaturation, but I also did a underexposure. You can go to an offset to either make it more contrasty or less, and I made it less, so it made it look foggier than it was. But no, it was a worth taking the snap of, for sure. I just wish we
Yeah.
had a. I wish we could have found a grove of them, which we could
Yeah.
never find.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be the problem. I always wanted to find groves of birch as well. I think having been there this day, as you said, there was absolutely zero dynamic light. It was completely gray. Um, Not even in the sense where it's kind of like a soft box where it's providing this nice soft light. There was really just nothing to be seen there. So I think pretty solid. I don't know what it is about this birch tree that's kind of driving me a little bit crazy. I almost feel like
There's
the
a limb
tone.
missing.
No, no,
Yeah.
it's actually nothing in relation to the shape or limbs of it, but it just it feels like the tonality of the image just might be slightly off. I can't really put my finger on
Mm.
um, what it is, but
Yeah. So
I'll be
totally
having
agree with
feelings.
that one. To me, it's just the like in retrospect, the birch tree is not that interesting to me anymore. At least at the time, it was all about the contrast. But yeah, for me, I guess these tree limbs are kind of awkward here, and yeah, at this point, this was a fine shot. I'd call it, just fine at this point, and probably not something that I'd ever put in a portfolio
Yeah.
for sure. But
Well, we're
but
all
yeah,
gonna
no,
have those
yeah,
portfolios that we're gonna constantly go through, and everybody, if anybody listens to this, you should totally go through your portfolio and dump stuff like stuff
oh,
you did
absolutely,
10 years ago. You're not gonna. It's not gonna be the same. It's not gonna be the same quality. So yeah, I get it.
yeah. But yeah, Scott, I think you're spot on though. It's just the yeah, maybe the tone is a little bit off. At least yeah, perhaps I could have adjusted the color balance a little bit more. But and Joseph, I'm actually going to share. So there are a few other shots that weekend that I took as well too.
Yep.
Some that I really liked, and this was one
That was
that I
definitely one I
particularly
liked.
liked. But, yeah, but I don't know if you guys recall this location, but does
Yep.
that seem high res enough for you guys
Yeah, it's
to?
good
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
because
good.
okay,
I
yeah,
tried to actually shoot this as well, but I think when Scott and I went up to Van Ho, where this was most likely taken, um,
yeah. It was
it
Van Ho.
it wasn't the same kind of light. It was very off, and it was more of a stormy day rather than that nice soft side light.
Yeah.
Um, so I was kind of mad that you got that and I didn't, but
Yeah,
whatever.
this was actually midday, so dappled light. I think that Van Ho, it's a beautiful view. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the best for. Um, I think it's not the best for composing like a full frame shot, like a big epic shot.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I always struggle shooting there, at least wider scenes. So yeah, I tend to have much more luck shooting with the telephoto there, and yeah, this day was just lucky enough to get some dapple light on the right part
yeah.
of the
It
screen
definitely
that
hit
you
all
were
the right
sort of
spots.
coming
I mean,
across.
it's hitting all
Yeah,
the curves. It's highlighting the water there. So
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's
yeah,
beautiful. I think you did a really nice job with this one. I don't know how much editing this one required because it just looks so great and so natural. The greens are spot on, nice soft light. Yeah, I think this was very very well done.
what was that? What was that other one that you had? What, skip out of
mm,
that. There was another one that you
yeah.
had like near. Was it one of the ponds?
Oh, and by the way, this shot, the only thing that I would change is to go back and shoot it later in the fall when some of these large trees
Oh, for
actually.
sure.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, which one were you looking at? You
One
saying
of
this
those
one?
ones on the left. No, not the one with Soph, but that one on the left, right there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So this is actually from the top of
nice.
Whiteface Mountain. So we actually drove up the backside of it, and we went all the way to the top, but it was completely socked in. It was a really stormy day that day, and so we drove back down maybe a mile, and then we came to this view, which yeah, yeah. Let me make this a little bit bigger. I came to this view. The light was super super dynamic that day. Uh, the conditions were just changing
Yep.
every second. There were, in fact, I captured this one about 5 minutes before this was completely socked in.
Wow.
So
You got
yeah,
lucky.
yeah, I was
But I
lucky
do
enough to
actually
just
like
get
the
some.
fact that this is desaturated. Like this isn't one of those ones where I pump it. Like it's nice, soft, gentle.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a good
if
choice.
anything, I perhaps should have tried to find a little bit more interesting foreground. I just think the
Yeah, but
foreground's lacking, but yeah,
yeah, but
I
you're
do
not even
like
looking at the foreground. It's just a base for all
Yeah,
this
yeah,
pretty stuff.
I agree. I don't think you really need so much of foregrounds in an image like this. You kind of get the swooping of the lake or the river from left to kind of center of the frame, then moving on out. And I actually really like images like this where you can tell there was this. I don't know. I wasn't there that day, but this looks like it was a dynamic bit of light. You can see kind of like the streams of light going over the mountains.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will overdo this and oversaturate it, and it just looks so unnatural. And I actually really like the toned down highlights on this.
Mm,
excellent. Yeah, no, yeah, this is actually the northern tip of Lake Placid. Um,
nice.
but yeah, Joe,
Yeah.
why don't
Let's
you kick it
share
over to
some
you?
old
Now
school
the fun
turds.
begins.
Here they come. Let me have it. Son of a bitch. All right, here we go. You guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah, you make it full screen.
Yeah, yeah. So this was at the top of Van Ho when Scott and I hiked up there. I think that was like mid to late afternoon, right?
Yeah, probably.
I think the sun was still high, and I just rattled off a exposure bracket just because I kind of like the scene. I know that rock is heavy in the foreground, but I don't know. I just liked all those birch down there. I really like the all that color, and obviously I pumped that up. And I tried to actually fade it back so that all the massive amount of color was up front, and then gradually just receded to that just the light. This was at the time. This is one of the hardest edits I've ever done. Uh, but knowing what I know now, I would have not been using any of the luminosity adjustments. I've learned that blend if does a way better job in this scenario. So I liked it. Bunch of I did a bunch
Yeah,
of
man.
tricks to this, but
So the light is stunning. Yeah, that's definitely the type of dynamic light that you need, especially for that mid ground.
yeah,
There's obviously some color in the mid ground, but not a lot of interest. So
yeah,
the fact that you have some dynamic light, or at least dapple light in there is
yeah.
really really nice.
And when that goes over the mountains,
Yeah,
it's incredible.
yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the fact that you capture this. This was probably what, maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It looks like, give or
Probably.
take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, really, really nicely composed. I do like that foreground. I might have put like at least darkened down, put a gradient on that foreground and maybe
Yeah.
darkened it down a little bit
Yeah.
to kind of focus the eye and bring it into the middle of the frame a little bit more. The only other thing, well, of course, there is some spots that you do need to clean up a little bit, but
Yeah.
the only other thing that I call out in the upper left hand corner is I used to do this as well too, but when you put a gradient in, or at least a gradient mask in,
Yep.
which is what I assume you did to darken down that
Most
sky.
likely.
Yeah, you kind of did a full adjust or full adjustment on it, which
Yeah.
instead of just darkening down the blacks and keeping the whites a little bit lighter.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
They all went
that's
down.
what that's what I do now is I try to darken down the the sky so that the clouds themselves don't look like they were also put
Right.
a
Yeah. Yeah.
gradient
Yeah.
put over them as
Yeah.
well too. Of course, you do want to dodge and burn the clouds a little bit, but I just think that the whites in the clouds over there are just a little too dark for me. But
Yeah.
but other than that, I mean, I like the color. It's a beautiful shot. I'm not a huge fan of ultra saturated shots, but I think this is actually like a really nice balance that
One
you
day I
found
will get you on the bandwagon, and you'll see the
there.
light and the
You
brightness
say so.
and the
You say so.
colors.
Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I really like this one actually. So there's a running joke in our group chat that Joseph tends to underexpose
Yep.
all these images, and we just chalk it up that his monitor is not calibrated. To be determined if that is actually the issue, but interesting to see 4 years ago that monitor must have been calibrated because this looks pretty spot on.
Yeah.
No, I think
Scott,
he did
I did let him borrow my spider earlier this week.
Yeah. Still haven't used it.
Joe,
Yeah.
have you used it yet?
Nope.
Oh my God. Still in the box, isn't it?
Still in the box. Yep.
Use the spider, man.
Hey man.
Calibrate your monitor.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I was up here with him, and I tell you, any wide shots I got definitely were not as good as this. So kudos to Joseph for
Thanks,
pulling
buddy.
this off.
It's a tough location to get a nice wide shot like
It
this.
is.
So
Well,
Oh
with
yeah,
all
yeah,
those
it is.
rocks and everything, it's like the foregrounds are lacking, right? So it really is like a long lens area to shoot. But
I think also a challenge. There's just so much mid ground
yeah,
to this scene that those peaks, which are rather large, at least for the East Coast, don't look as big. Um, and yeah, it's hard to shoot wide even with epic conditions. Adam and I went up, I think, the following year or 2 years later,
yep,
and we got this color bomb sunset. Really, like, truthfully, one of the best sunsets I've seen on top of a mountain or a viewpoint, whatever
yeah,
you want to
yep,
call it. And I came away with nothing because it's really hard
same
to
here.
hit
Same
the
here.
road.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
There was no light on the. So yeah, that night it was just yeah, as you mentioned, beautiful sunset. But there was no light on the mid ground, which just yeah, it just didn't quite work,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah. I get it. And then here's the other one.
Oh,
Big
actually,
old
before
yeah.
yeah, Joe,
What you got?
before you go to that next one, what are you guys' thoughts on the foreground here? Because this is kind of again, I think that you compose this well, but this is kind of like the standard Adirondack foreground, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you shoot wide.
Yep.
And I'm curious what you guys typically do for foregrounds here, because I find that shooting wide in the Adirondacks is really tough for that very reason,
Oh,
and they
for
all
sure.
feel the same whenever I shoot wide. Is
Yep.
that kind of standard, rock in the foreground?
Yep.
But
There's not much.
yeah,
There's not really a way to get around it because I mean, you
yeah,
want something in the foreground, but you don't have to have something in the foreground. That's when you just go like 85 to 600. Like just take little
yeah,
snippets of everything. But
I
honestly,
think
the wide shots, I'm just trying to find something to like break it up so it's not just a
yeah,
flat piece of granite, right? So like
oh,
some
for
kind of
sure.
crag or some kind of level adjustment or um, like where you have almost like a stepping stone kind of effect. That's all I'm looking for.
Yeah,
I think that's a good question, and I feel like there's times where I've gotten lazy with my compositions up there, and even other places as well, where there's a beautiful lookout, and I just find any sort of rock in the foreground to try to give some sense of scale or depth or whatever it may be. It doesn't really contribute to the image. I don't know if I would say that about this. The way you composed here, it is heavy in the foreground, but I don't know how else you would have shot it. Um, I really don't think I'd mind it in this image. Truthfully, maybe in regards not to composition, but the way you edit, maybe turning down the luminosity or the exposure value just a smidge.
Yep.
But other than that, um, I don't think I would change it here. But to answer your question, Adam, I think I would say a lot of people who shoot up there probably struggle with the same thing because you, most lookouts, it's going to look exactly like this. It's just what is beyond that is going to be different,
yeah,
and tends to lead to some images that look very similar.
Yep.
yeah.
All right. Let's
Yeah,
head over to the next one.
that's to me, that's the one thing about the Adirondack shooting up there is that the foreground opportunities are very few and far between.
Yeah.
Yeah, even then, Scott, you and I have been up there many times to shoot. Every lookout we go to, as you mentioned, it's just tough to shoot there, and
Yeah.
I find there's a lot more luck with the telephoto for that very reason. But yeah,
Yeah. So this was Connery Pond on was Scott. Was this the second to last day?
Um, I can't recall. We definitely had been there.
Twice.
Yes,
Yeah, I think this is the
one day it
second to
was
last day.
yeah, one day completely socked in, and another day we kind of got these cool clouds. So I don't know exactly which day it was.
So this is like I think a 9 or 10 shot pano at like 85. Yeah, I think I shot this with the 85. Um, that lens is so damn sharp. But you got that like little blue shack over there on the right. Colors are just popping. Got this nice little grass in the foreground. You got these like nice little plants, and then you got this just stormy. Looks like it's about to just let loose storm cloud with the light just beaming through. I loved it. It was a great morning. Yeah, rip it apart, guys. Do what you do.
I mean, it's a great panel. So I don't have too much to say about it.
What?
Again, I think
What?
you and I have a very different approach when it comes to saturation, of course. So,
Yep.
yeah, I'll chalk that out to a style thing, and
Yep.
you're clearly much more heavy-handed in
I'm
post
I'm
than I am
happy that
typically, but
you do black and white photography. I'm
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
very very happy that you like your genre of black and white and sepia. Yep.
minimal, yeah, yeah, exactly. But I do like I know that this place is tough for foreground as well too, but I think that that the foreground that you use here is fine. The only thing that I changed, the only thing that's kind of bothering me about this is the upper left hand corner.
Yeah, that bright hot
Um,
spot. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. I could
I
definitely
probably
pull
would
that
have
in on the left.
toned that out or
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
warped it maybe.
Right.
Warped it back a bit, but I think it's composed well. Um, I might have. I don't know if you need like eight or nine or 10 shots,
No,
whatever it
probably
was.
not.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think if you could even like make it a little bit tighter, crop it in, but
Yep.
I don't. Yeah.
I just
Maybe
like all the
not, but
details back there. You know.
I do like the mountain on the right hand side though. So
Yep.
yeah, I don't hate the crop quite frankly, but um, with those like ultra wide panels like this.
Yeah.
I just never quite know where to use them. I mean, you can't really put them on Instagram. You can't.
No, you can't.
Um,
They suck on
yeah,
Instagram.
I mean they're cool shots, but they just kind of live on my
Like,
computer.
yeah,
And,
no,
and
they need to go up on a very large wall, right?
yeah,
So yeah, it's I don't like I said, dude. This lens just renders really well, and this was on a 24 megapixel Z6 because that's what I was shooting at the time,
yeah,
and uh, I'm going in pretty tight here, and it's still sharp as hell. So
yeah, yeah. It looks good. Again, it's more of the upper left hand corner. Then
yep,
that's probably the only thing that I think definitely needs changing. But
for sure.
yeah, other than that, it looks good.
Yeah,
I mean, look at that red though. Holy shit.
That red is solid.
Man, that is
That's
I
a
do
la
like
that is deep
natural.
ruby.
That's
I
a
do like the
ruby.
two props on this one.
What?
I think the conditions are really nice. Um, so in at least in my mind, the coolest part of the image it's going to be whiteface, which is to the left of the frame.
Yep.
I do like the storm clouds you got on the right side, but whiteface, if you were to draw a line down the middle, doesn't even account for half the image
Right.
or the mountains. And I would assume that that's kind of like when you come to Connery Pond. Um, I don't want to compare it to like a Trillium Lake because these mountains are not nearly as epic, but
Nah.
it's kind of framed up for you. There's not many shots you can get. It's kind of just right there in
Yep.
front of you, white piece. I think part of it, it's funny, Adam, you like the mountain on the right. That little hump leading out of the frame is kind of driving me crazy. I would maybe just cut out. If you see to the left of that peak, that first tree that's sticking up above the tree line,
Yeah.
maybe to right about there, because then you're still getting majority of that storm light. I like the detail you got in there. I assume you dodge and burned a lot of them, which I think looks really nice.
Hmm.
And then just my only other feedback would be there's a lot of cyan in the clouds, especially to the left, and I feel like cyan is like magenta's like evil twin brother, just like on the other side of the color
Yep, yep,
spectrum.
yep.
But other than that, I think you did a nice job. I also actually shot a pano this day, and it came out very bad. So Joseph just mopped the floor with me that weekend. But I did return to Connery a couple times after that. I got some nice images. But yeah, overall, I think there's definitely a photo here. I think maybe going a little bit tighter, and again, just personal preference. I'd probably try to turn down the cyan a little bit in the sky, but ton of detail in there, which I think is awesome. Really lends itself well to this image.
Thanks, guys.
But I'd say that sometimes the sky actually does look like that, right?
Yeah.
In really sort of post-stormy conditions.
Right.
Typically like mammatus clouds. But I have actually seen clouds where you do get that kind of orangey sort of look to it, at least between the clouds. But Scott, your other comment just around the mountain on the right hand side and sort of cutting it closer to that first tree. I don't disagree with that. I think to me, like the mountain is more for like balance. And if you were to cut it, right at that tree, do you think those trees that are kind of sticking up on the right hand side that are breaking the horizon, do you think that that's enough to balance out that shot?
I think so. Joe, go in just a little bit tighter for me. So
I'm just trying to do that crop out. So crop that mountain out.
Yeah.
And then you wanted me to get rid of that bright white, right?
Yeah, it's not horrible.
So and I mean, this goes. Everyone's got their limits of what they're willing to do in Photoshop. I don't know if I would necessarily crop in so much from the left side of the frame.
Yeah.
Maybe just clone stamp or warp that corner out.
Yeah.
But I definitely do think that cropping in a bit on that right side would help a little bit.
Mm.
Do you feel like this is balanced? I think it's actually not as bad as I thought. Now that he actually
did it,
I think that the trees that pop up above the horizon line help to balance
for sure.
it a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I think it's more balanced than it was. And Joseph, can you crop out a little bit more so that you actually do have that bright spot on the upper left? I want to see just in regards to kind of like that. So well, if you get rid of the I'm asking a lot right now.
So there.
And then maybe if you go to file and delete image, I think.
Right, I forgot about that option. Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
No, I think that looks a lot better.
Did I tell you your mom ordered this image? I think she has it up in her living room.
Oh, no way. She just ordered one from Peter Lake, too. What do you think about this? Any thoughts?
Look, I mean, it's like it's not as unbalanced as I thought. Now that it's cropped in a little bit better, or a little bit more on the right hand side. I like it. Yeah. I would definitely either clone stamp or generative fill or warp the upper left hand corner even more.
Yep.
Again, it's still just trying, drawing my eye outside of the middle of the frame.
Yeah, you definitely want it just going right here.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a good shot. Yeah, it's just like it's an epic shot, which Yeah, I mean it's the storm clouds. You know, I probably would have gone in a different direction. You know, for them, but as Scott mentioned, you know, there's cyan in there, but also just the saturation in there. That I probably would have handled it a little bit different.
So good.
Probably would have dodged and burned it to feel a little bit moodier,
It's
but yeah,
just so
yeah, it's a
good.
great shot.
It's so good. All right.
I'll tell you, there's a lot of shots of yours that I hate so much more than that. So
Well then,
I don't know.
let's save that for
That's
another
kind of a
day.
compliment, right?
Yeah. Well,
I must say that this went a bit better than I had anticipated. When I was figuring out photos to show that first one that Joseph actually somehow liked more than the second one.
I like the
I
whole
was like,
view.
oh boy, this is gonna be the one. I'm opening the floodgates for what's gonna come out of these two guys'
It didn't
mouths.
surprise me. Yeah, yeah, that he did say that, but yeah, he's wrong. But
As he normally is.
yeah, of course.
I think you guys froze again. That's weird. We got to figure that out. We might have to run on your rig, Scott, since yours is all like, you know, fancy.
We can give it a try.
Yeah. Oh well.
You want to wrap this one up?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's one in the books. Sorry it was so long because it was an hour. We were trying to plan for like 15 minutes,
That
so
was
we
an
gotta
hour. Holy shit.
we have to figure out how to you know, cut these down a little bit maybe. So you know, you actually
Conversation. You know.
might watch it. You know, but if you stuck around this long, I'm sorry that we didn't do a better job. But next time, do it for you. Um, yeah.
We'll make it a
So
little bit tighter for sure. Yeah.
thanks, fellas. I guess we'll have to show them how mean we can be next time.
Oh, we do have some good ideas of some topics for videos,
Yep.
and they're geared at mocking each other.
That, and we might
Out
actually at times teach you something because we'll go over some like Photoshop and Lightroom stuff, and I'll show you how to saturate, and Adam will tell you how to desaturate, and Scott will tell you something. I know he's learned something in 4 years. I can't remember what, but he
if I
something.
could, if you guys don't know us, I would say to put things into perspective, you have Joseph on the far right, Adam on the far left, and then me somewhere in the middle of the two.
Yep.
And they're always giving me different advice. And Joseph's normally add more contrast, saturate this.
Yep.
Adams amplify the scene, desaturate. So
Sounds about right.
It's a
Hey,
funny
Scott.
combination.
Hey, Scott, who is the angel and who's the devil on your shoulder?
No, I'm totally the devil. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
suck it.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy answer, and Joseph is easily the devil.
Yeah, easily.
Yes, sir.
I'll take it. Whatever. What are you drinking there, buddy?
It's water. Yeah.
Oh,
Just trying to stay
lame.
hydrated, man.
Just lame.
Just trying to stay hydrated.
Jesus.
I know.
Life of fathers.
Yeah. Well, you're not a big drinker either.
No, I'm not. I'm just not. Oh well, whatever. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. Get this the hell off of here, and see you on the next one. Hopefully. If it sucks. It sucks. I'm sorry, but we'll try and pick up.
It will get better.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed. All right, assholes. I'll see you later.
See you
All right.
guys.
You guys.
All right, let's